Boardroom Media.
Imagine creating a company with no product, no customers, no traditional business model, and no plan to make money. Now imagine telling the world, we're going to build artificial intelligence that could eventually become smarter than humans. That sounds less like a business plan and more like science fiction. But in 2015, a group of researchers and technology leaders decided to try. They called it OpenAI. And from the beginning, the idea was unusual. It launched as a non-profit research organization with a mission to ensure artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. The thinking was simple. AI could become one of the most powerful technologies ever created. And if something that powerful was eventually developed, who should control it? A small group of shareholders? A single company? Or should the technology be developed with humanity's interests at the center? OpenAI wanted to take the third path. Its researchers published research. They worked on robotics. They experimented with game-playing systems. At first, there was no ChatGPT, no viral AI chatbot, no millions of users. It was simply a research organization trying to push the boundaries of artificial intelligence. But then the team discovered a problem. The better AI became, the more computing power it required. And computing power costs money. A lot of money. OpenAI eventually concluded that building increasingly capable AI would require resources far beyond what donations alone could provide. The company was facing a strange contradiction. Its mission required enormous amounts of capital, but its original non-profit structure wasn't designed like a conventional investment-driven technology company. So OpenAI made a dramatic decision. In 2019, it created a for-profit subsidiary controlled by the non-profit. And then came Microsoft. Microsoft invested $1 billion in OpenAI and became its exclusive cloud provider, helping OpenAI build the massive computing infrastructure required for its research. This changed everything. OpenAI was no longer just a research lab. It was becoming a technology company capable of operating at enormous scale. But nobody outside the company knew just how significant that transformation would become. By the early 2020s, OpenAI had already developed increasingly powerful AI systems. But AI was still something most ordinary people experienced indirectly. Inside research papers, technology demonstrations, and specialized applications. Then OpenAI made a decision that would change the company forever. It released ChatGPT. November 2022. At first, it looked almost too simple. You opened a website. You typed a question. And the AI responded. You could ask it to explain something, write something, summarize, brainstorm ideas, translate, code, learn. The technology wasn't perfect. It made mistakes. But something about it was different. For the first time, advanced AI felt like something ordinary people could simply talk to. And people couldn't stop using it. The product spread rapidly. AI had escaped the research laboratory and entered everyday life. Suddenly, students were experimenting with it. Workers were using it. Developers were building with it. Teachers were debating it. Businesses were trying to understand it. And competitors were rushing to respond. Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon. Startups around the world. The AI race had begun. But there was a problem hiding underneath OpenAI's success. Training and operating increasingly powerful AI systems requires enormous computing infrastructure. That meant OpenAI needed more than brilliant researchers. It needed data centers, chips, engineers, capital, cloud infrastructure, and partnerships capable of supporting all of it. The original nonprofit idea had evolved into something much more complicated. OpenAI now had a mission, but it also had investors, commercial products, massive infrastructure requirements, and a rapidly growing global business. And then, in 2023, the company experienced one of the most dramatic leadership crises in modern technology. Sam Altman was removed as CEO by OpenAI's board. The news shocked the technology industry. Employees reacted. Microsoft became involved. And within days, Altman returned as CEO. The crisis revealed something the public had not fully understood. OpenAI wasn't just a normal startup. Its unusual governance structure meant that the mission, the non-profit board, investors, employees, and commercial ambitions could collide in extraordinary ways. But the company survived. And the AI race became even more intense. OpenAI's story is fascinating because it isn't simply about artificial intelligence. It's about the collision between mission and scale. The organization was created with an ambitious goal: build AGI that benefits humanity. But pursuing that goal became incredibly expensive. The more capable the systems became, the more computing power they required. And the bigger the company became, the more complicated its structure became. This is why OpenAI's corporate structure has continued evolving. In 2025, OpenAI announced plans to transition its for-profit business into a public benefit corporation, while keeping the nonprofit in control. In October 2025, the nonprofit became the OpenAI Foundation, while the operating company became OpenAI Group PBC. That structure attempts to solve a difficult problem. How do you build a company capable of raising enormous amounts of capital while keeping its original mission at the center? And OpenAI's relationship with Microsoft has evolved alongside it. The partnership that began with Microsoft's $1 billion investment in 2019 became one of the most important collaborations in technology. In 2025, Microsoft and OpenAI announced another long-term agreement. Then in April 2026, the companies announced another amendment, extending Microsoft's license to OpenAI intellectual property through 2032. So where does this leave OpenAI? A company that began with no product is now operating at a completely different scale. A non-profit research organization became a commercial AI company. A technology most people barely understood became something millions of people use. And the original mission remains at the center of the company's stated identity. But perhaps the biggest lesson from OpenAI isn't about artificial intelligence at all. It's about scale. Sometimes your biggest challenge isn't getting people to believe in your idea. It's figuring out what happens when they finally do. OpenAI started with a question: could artificial intelligence become powerful enough to change humanity? Then it discovered another question: how do you build that future without losing control of the reason you started? Because when an idea becomes powerful enough, the company built around it has to change. The technology is evolving. The business is evolving. The structure is evolving. And the biggest question is no longer whether AI will change the world. It's this: Who will shape the world that AI creates?
This was Boardroom Media. We'll see you behind the next boardroom door.